If you have ever tried to submit a registration or apply for any of the business registration on the Corporate Affairs Commission portal and you got a query, you already know how frustrating that can be. Like sometimes it really can be very, very frustrating. I know. Most times, CAC just give you a clue about the query with no clear explanation of what you did wrong and what you should do to fix the query. This usually make many registrations delay for days, for weeks, or even run into months. Some people even get so tired that they completely abandon registrations because many times you don't even know what you did wrong and how to fix it. But here is the truth. CAC queries are not just random. They follow repeated patterns. And trust me, 99% of CAC queries are actually solvable. In this video, I'll show you the most common CAC registration queries, why they happen, and exactly how to figure it out and how to avoid them completely. And if you already have one, how to fix them. But before I make a big promise here, you should also know that it is practically impossible for me to treat every possible query in this video because some queries are really very unique depending on what you did wrong. But the queries that I'll be touching in this video can help you solve even the ones that seem very unique to you. I am sure if you stay and watch the entire video, I would have touched your own query or something related, or most queries that most people are likely to encounter. If you're a CAC agent, this video will benefit you a whole lot. And for every other person that just wants to do your registration and run away, this knowledge will save you money, it will save you time, and most importantly, stress. But if you don't want to go through all of this, but you want me to just help you look at your queries myself directly, then you can reach out to me using the contact detail that I will drop in the video description just below this video. I can also help you carry out your business registration, your export license, NGO registrations, and several other business services. You can always reach out to me and I will be willing to help you. My contact detail is in the video description. Also, if you're a CAC agent, I also recommend my CAC Masterclass where I have a community of more than 200 CAC agents like you. I train you on how to carry out both the pre-incorporation and the post-incorporation applications with the CAC. I also give solutions to those of you that are not officially CAC accredited. Maybe you are not a lawyer, you are not a chartered accountant, but you still want to access the accredited agent portal and carry out all manner of CAC applications and registration. You can reach out to me using the contact in the video description. So, do you have a query on your CAC registration or you want to learn how to solve CAC queries that have been confusing to you? Let's get right to the video. So, what exactly is a CAC query and what does it really mean? Now, let's simplify it. A CAC query simply means something is wrong or unclear in your registration application and CAC is not comfortable with what you have done. So you are asked to correct what you did wrong before your registration or application can be approved. Now, it could be things around missing information, incorrect details, or something that doesn't meet CAC guidelines. The good news, most queries, like I said, are fixable. And if you know what to do, yes, actually, most queries are fixable. So let's talk about name rejection as a query. Now, this is usually one of the most common ones. Before now, name rejection queries used to be a big deal. But since CAC upgraded their registration portal to the new ICRP portal, business name queries is not really a big deal again. That is because the result of your business name availability check comes out immediately, even before you make any form of payment. It wasn't like that before. Before you have to submit and then it's going to be approved or queried. But now, the only time you might have a little challenge with your business name is if the AI approves your business name wrongly and then a human later review it and they spot the problem. If that happens, then all you need to do is to go ahead and carry out a name substitution on that name and it's going to be approved. I believe I have videos that talks about how to carry out name substitution. I will leave the link to some of those videos in the video description below this video. However, when it comes to NGO name query, it is not exactly like this. I already explained how to fix NGO name rejection also in the video that I will link on the screen, and I will leave it also in the video description. If NGO is your own issue, then you can check them out, because NGO name rejection can really be a little bit more technical than the business name and company. Meanwhile, while trying to get your business name approved, you also want to avoid the following in the name that you are considering for use. Number one, your name should not be too similar to an existing business, and I think that's easy and straightforward. Then you want to avoid restricted words, like using words like federal, national, government, holding, and a couple of others. You can't just use all of those special words without taking special permission from the CAC. Also, make sure that your proposed business name is not too generic or lack what we call qualifiers. For instance, Digital Quill Venture will be easily approved than just using something like Digital Quill. In this case, venture is an example of a qualifier. Other qualifiers include words like enterprise, salon, restaurant, and so on. They make a name look more like a specific business than just any other generic or ordinary name out there. Like I said, this won't be a lot of problem for you, because the registration portal would have already informed you if you're making a name error, so that you can fix it before you go ahead to reserve that name and make payment. So the CAC portal upgrade has significantly reduced the chance of business name queries. But if you still have any queries like that, then use this explanation I just made to solve them. Now let's talk about things around details. This one catches a lot of people unawares. And why does it happen? Number one, it could be a mismatch between your name and your ID card. It could be incomplete address and typos. And for address specifically, you will see that CAC is very particular with the format that goes with the number of the house that you're using, or the building name, the address itself. That means the street or the road. If you mix everything up together, there is every chance that CAC is going to query that application. Now, there is this particular kind of query that are very common with business name registration most times, and it has to do with issues around the proprietor's ID card that was used for that registration. First, do know that for business name, the only ID card that the CAC accepts for now is the national ID card, or the NIN slip. So if you have any query like this, just go ahead and use the right ID card, and it's going to be solved. Also, your national ID card can still be rejected if it's a fake ID. Now, you may not even know. Fake IDs are ID cards that have empty barcode and cannot be scanned. And then it is the AI that does business name approval. If it cannot scan it, then it's not going to go. So what you will have to do in that scenario is to reprint a new national ID card or get a new NIN. You can do that at the NIN offices, or any NIN accredited agent can also do that for you. If you need help with fixing that, you can also reach out to me using my details in the video description. Generally, you want to double check every detail before you submit, of course, and ensure that your names match with your ID card exactly. So for example, if on your ID card you have 3 names, on your registration you must also have 3 names also. Now, another issue that I have noticed is that some people, while creating their account with the CAC, don't really take cognizance of the kind of name they fill in. They just use any name anyhow. And then when they are carrying out their registration proper, it is those names that is automatically generated for you. And if you run into that issue, it can really be difficult for you to be able to edit that name and use. And then in that case, it might be going against the ID card that you have submitted. So use what I just explained to try to fix that issue if that is what applied to you. So like I said, how to fix this is to make sure you edit the application and correct the errors, or you re-upload the accurate information as the case may be. Okay, let's talk about queries that border around the business objective or the business description of your registration. There are so many sides to these particular types of query, depending on whether it's a business name, a limited liability company, an NGO, or even a GTA. But broadly speaking now, understand that for business names and limited, your business objectives must suggest that your business is purely a profit-making objective. For NGO, you must make sure that your objectives suggest that you are not into any form of profit making. And for GTE, you can actually make profit, but ensure that your profit will go back into that company. Individuals cannot share profit in limited by guarantee registrations. Anything contrary in each category, as explained, your business objectives will most likely be queried. Now, another thing to take note of is that CAC doesn't care about your goals, your vision, and your missions. In fact, they don't want to see such information in your business description. Don't be vague. Go straight to the point and explain exactly what your organization is into. Simple, straight to the point. Don't beat around the bush, telling them the promises and the things you want to do in future. Let me broadly talk about the most common issue in each category in addition to the general rule I've just explained now. So for example, for business name, another major reason why your business name objectives may be queried is if you're registering a business whose profile is bigger than being registered as a business name. For example, you cannot register a school under a business name. There are others. So you should do your findings very well before deciding to register a business name. And if you're already queried for such reason, you have to either re-edit your business objective or just abandon the registration outrightly and start a new one. For limited liability company, you may get additional query about your business objective if your description suggests a business that does not belong to the share category that you indicated in your share capital page. Most people register small companies with shares of between 100,000 naira and ₦1,000,000 naira, but CAC has over 70 different shares capital category for businesses that are categorized as big businesses. So if your business is a million share capital and your business objectives show a business with a 20 million share capital, then you are going to be queried. This is a very common query many people have. It's simple. You do your findings very well and study the share category of your business before you go ahead and complete that section of your registration. Don't worry, when you get to the share capital page, you're going to see that list displayed by the CAC. You want to study that list carefully before you go ahead to complete that page of your registration. You can also manipulate how you describe the business if you just need to use maybe a particular description and you want to make sure that that description falls within your preferred category. What you can do in this case is to just try to manipulate it in a way that you will not mention things that will cause them to think that your business is a higher share capital business, but it's still saying the same thing. So for example, you cannot do a finance company with a million share capital, for example, but you can redescribe it in a way that you're not going to mention finance, but yet you still mention what that business does. Well, that takes a little bit of technicalities to do, but yes, you can actually do that. You can also reach out to me if you need further help about this. My contact details, like I said, is in the video description. Now, finally, before I leave this particular one, remember that the amount you pay for your registration will also depend on the share category of the business you chose. So if you choose a wrong share category and you make a payment, then CAC will query the application and you will be required to update your payment. If you insist on using that business objective and you are okay with paying the additional fee that CAC charge, then you can't make such payment on the CAC portal. You have to go to remitter.net to make that payment. Then you upload the payment receipt on the CAC portal. And in case you are struggling to know the exact extra payment to make, you can also drop it as a question in the comment section or you contact me for further assistance. Okay, so let's talk about things around documents. Now, this one is very common and it is very avoidable. Why does it happen? For example, if you submit a blurry or unreadable document, you might be queried. If you upload a wrong file or a wrong file format, you can also be queried. And also, if you don't submit all the required documents that are required from you, you will also be queried. For example, if you have two directors in your company and you submit only the ID card of a director, things like that will also lead to query. And how do you avoid it? Very simple. You want to make sure you upload clear, properly labeled files, and you want to make sure you use the correct format, and then everything that you are required to submit, you want to make sure you submit them. And to fix it, just re-upload the correct and clear document at the upload page and then go ahead and resolve the query. Okay, so now let's talk about newspaper publication issues. Of course, this is strictly for NGO registrations. So for incorporated trustees, newspaper publication is mandatory. Of course, if you don't fill the newspaper publication details, you cannot submit your application for review. Yep. But if you don't do it the right way, your application will be submitted, but it will come back to you as a query. So you want to make sure that you fill in the date of publication accurately. And very importantly, you want to make sure that you have waited for at least 28 days between when the newspaper publication came out and when you submit your final registration to CAC. Also, one very common query is when you don't capture your newspaper publication page properly. You want to make sure that you snap your reference page and you want to capture the date of the newspaper publication while doing so. And then you want to mark your own publication conspicuously before you go ahead to submit your application. If you are queried already, if you do what I just said, your query is going to be fixed. And how to fix this is to do the publication properly, upload the evidence as required, and then mark your query as resolved. So after saying all of this, if you want a zero stress application experience, you want to follow these steps. You want to make sure you review your application at least twice before you submit. You want to use clear and professional language in your registration. You don't want to rush the process. When you get a query, you want to respond quickly and correct them. Remember, CAC is strict, but they are very predictable if you know what you're doing. If you avoid these common mistakes, I believe that your CAC registration will be smooth and it's going to be fast. No unnecessary delay, there will be no frustrations. Now, the truth is that it is not possible for me to cover all the possible queries in one single video because many times, like I said, your queries can be unique depending on what you have done wrong while doing your registration. But do know that 99% of CAC queries are solvable, even if it has already stressed you before you saw this video. Note also that the few queries I have mentioned in this video are all pre-incorporated queries. You can reach out to me for post-incorporation queries, even though I still hope to publish a video that talks about that very soon. If you have a query that I did not mention, you can drop them in the comment section or reach out to me using my contact details in the video description just below this video. Though I may charge you a little token depending on the severity of the query. And if you want me to come to YouTube live, maybe to discuss these CAC issues in real time, also let me know in the comment section. And if I get enough requests, I can give it a consideration. If this video helped you, please hit the like button. And if you are a first-time visitor or you are a regular visitor but you are not yet subscribed to this channel, why are you waiting? You want to hit the subscribe button and turn on the alert notification so that YouTube can notify you when I create more business-oriented and make money videos just like the one you've just watched. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.